Now, for some of you, this view may not be aesthetically pleasing, but for me, this is what I'm grateful for. Well, no, I'm not grateful for the obvious debris, but some time ago, I made a video and talked about how my small town had a lot of wind damage from a storm. Some places got a full-fledged tornado, but we ended up with high-powered winds that knocked down a lot of the branches in my yard. And being single sometimes can suck. And sometimes you can be in a relationship and it could suck when you don't have the support. And so I'm getting at the fact that I am single, and usually I have the funds to get things done around my house. I'm fortunate that I have been able to get those necessities completed. But because I live in small town USA, things like what's behind me, when things like that happen, you can have money. And sometimes you can just not have anyone who is able or willing to even come and do it for the pay. And, companies that are further out, they're not interested. They're not interested in coming all the way down here for pennies by the time they drive and, of course, put gas in their vehicles and do the job. Is it really worth it coming out here in small town USA? Many times it's not. So as a result, a lot of times things may have to sit for a while until I can get someone to come and do it. Well, what ended up happening was after the storm, well, actually, right before the storm damage, my neighbor, she reached out. She said, hey, me and my family are going to be in St. Louis prior to the storm. If you don't mind, after the storm, check on our house, see if there's any damage, and let us know. So I went by the very next day and took pictures. I sent her the pictures, and she said, by the way, if you have any damage, because they didn't have any damage. She said, by the way, if you have any damage, let me know, because my church just started this men's ministry, and they want to come out and help individuals that are in need get rid of the debris, the branches, or what have you, that is, cluttering now their space. So I took a picture, and I'll insert it here. And I told her if I could get someone to come out, of course I would pay for it. But she made it very clear, no, there's no payment. It's the men's ministry. They're doing it for free. This is something that they want to do. They just started the ministry, and they just really wanted to give back to the community. So, of course, I was like, yes, sign me up. So she called, or she didn't call. She texted and told me that they would be by on Saturday, which was yesterday, to do the job. Now, her husband is a part of the men's ministry, and he came to my door and he was asking me what needed to be done. And literally, I just said, can y'all just remove the limb? And you can see the debris. And I'm sorry, you can see the debris. And I'll insert another picture. But I just wanted the limb gone. Now, there were branches all throughout. I have about an acre of land. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roughly 10 trees. Or it's more than 10, y'all. It's more than 10 trees, especially counting my neighbor's trees that the branches and everything are over my fencing. So I have a plethora of trees that are around my yard. And as a result, when I say limbs, branches were everywhere. But I could have moved all of the things that were kind of scattered in my yard. But it was this big piece. And let me see. I don't even know if I'm getting it all in there. Oh, I'm not. Can you see all that? Yeah. So, yeah, it was a big branch, and I was so grateful because usually I park my car right here. And I remember the day before the storm, or the night of the storm, rather, the day of the storm. And I had come home from work and I heard an audible voice, audible just as I am speaking to you now. And I heard it say, "Don't park here." I promise you, if you follow God, if you follow wisdom, you'll stay out of a lot of trouble. So I heard it and I almost chuckled, because I call my spirit of discernment, and I'm taking this from someone else. This is not my own way of claiming when spirit speaks to me, but I call her she who whispers, right? And when she who whispers speaks, baby, I listen. So I chuckled and I said, well, all right. So I backed my vehicle out of my normal parking space and I came all the way in to my backyard, and I literally parked at my back door. And that's where I would park any other time if I didn't park in my parking space. So I got out of my car, and still I'm thinking like, thank you, Spirit. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I just prayed that whatever happened, that my home was covered, my vehicle was covered, the people in the community were covered, no hurt, harm, or danger came upon anyone. So the next morning I get up and I said, you know what, let me just drive over to my neighbor to ensure, nothing happened to hers. Because of course, as soon as I get up, I see that this branch not only has fallen, but it is literally in the spot where my car would have been parked. It would have covered my vehicle. It would have covered it. There was no way that I would have been able to get my vehicle from up under it. First of all, because I have an SUV, and I'm surprised that it did not bend the fencing back there. But it would have absolutely covered my SUV. So I was like, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that I listened to she who whispers and moved my vehicle to my back door. So I got in my vehicle and I went straight over to, like I said, my neighbors, and she didn't have any damage. And then again, she who whispers says, go and see all over town what has happened. Because I prayed that nothing, no hurt, no harm, no danger would come upon anyone in my small town. So I'm just riding around and I'm noticing there is a theme. And the theme is, the further I get away from my home, the less damage I see. So I go and I'm at my cousin's house, and I see that her trash has basically been, I guess, pushed by the wind to the other side of the street, and some of her trash has fallen out. So I get up and put her trash back in her trash, and then I just send her a text like, I don't know exactly where your trash can goes, but I just put it back on the edge of the street. And so I'm steady driving, and again, I'm seeing less and less and less damage, and all I kept saying is, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Again, we live in small town USA when astronomical things, when damage like this happens, we don't get a lot of people who are willing or even able to come out here and take care of stuff like this. So, needless to say, the concentration of damage literally started at my house, and then it went further back, and there was another big tree. And when I tell you, it fell in the exact opposite of my neighbor, 2 doors down, of my neighbor's and his wife's house, literally in the exact opposite. So when I saw him, I said, is that your tree? He was like, no. He told me who it belonged to. And I said, well, because I was like, do you need some help, getting it removed? Because I'm about to share it with all ministers. There's a men's ministry at a church and they willing to do it. And so he was like, no, it belongs to a company. It's actually the company that he works for. And he said, they'll get it, no problem. So I'm like, I'm so glad it fell in the opposite direction of your home. He was like, you and me too. And so he told me that the wind of the storm literally came from what we would call Kentucky. Came from Kentucky and blew all the way over into Illinois, but it only blew literally on this side of the town. The other side of the town, they were perfectly fine. So I said, well, Spirit, if I was supposed to get the brunt of it because I was doing the hard praying that nothing would happen, no hurt, harm, or danger, it didn't. It didn't. And then as a result of my prayer, now I'm getting this debris removed for free. Look at God. Look at God. When I tell you gratefulness has just been a constant stay in my spirit, gratefulness has been a constant word that is coming out of my mouth. I am grateful. I'm grateful. And so it's barely 10 a.m. And at first I wasn't going to come out here because what I really wanted to do was get in the grassy knoll. Because, honey, when I tell you my lawn is clean, my lawn is clean. Now, we do need to mow. And I'll get with Scotty. That's the guy, childhood friend who normally mows my grass. But I'll get with Scotty and he'll come and mow. But when I tell you they did an excellent job at picking up the debris. Now, I'm going to go through because I am who I am. I'm going to go through and I'm going to rake up a few more things that I see because I don't want Scotty's lawnmower shooting it all over my damn yard because he ain't going to get out. He ain't going to get out and pick up no branches if there's any on the ground. So I'm going to come out here. It won't be today. Again, it's kind of gloomy. I'm surprised it hasn't started raining all the way. It's sprinkled here and there. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit out here in the area where I am most grateful for when it comes to what happened with this storm. And what's even more remarkable about this whole incident now, where I am sitting, this is where my she shed used to be. I had a she shed here. And I would say about maybe 5-6 years ago, I accidentally burned her down.
I'm sorry. I didn't. It wasn't an accident. I meant to burn her down. Okay, so let me stop lying. I meant to burn her down. Yes, I did. I meant to burn her down. I just didn't mean to call the fire department as a result of it getting out of hand.
Oh, Lord. When I tell you, my neighbor across the street, and he called me by my nickname, the name we shall not use. And he's one of the few people since my mother passed that will still refer to me as this nickname. So he said, when he saw me, doing what I was trying to do, he's like,
you need to make sure your hose can reach over here before you do that.
I was like, oh, it can reach. It can reach.
He said, all right then, baby girl. I just want to make sure that hose can reach over here just in case something happened.
Well, I lit that fire. And I said, you know what? It's taking too long. It's not burning. It's not burning. Baby, like a dummy. I think I put lighter fluid on it. It wasn't gasoline. I wasn't crazy. But it was lighter fluid. So I threw some lighter fluid on it. And I don't know what it inflamed, but baby, it took off to the point where I ran for my life to try to go get that hose. And when I tell you I ran, I said, what? So I tried to, when I tell you I was so far away from this damn, from this shed, I was so far away from this shed. I was like, I could have sworn this hose would have absolutely been long enough to put out the fire. I'm trying to now squeeze, you take the tip of the hose and you squeeze it, try to make it shoot up. Baby. So then at the time, I was still with my ex. So I called him to try to tell him what was going on. And, mind you, I had already called the fire department. So yes, I'm not crazy. But I called the fire department. You know, we're small town USA, so we don't have a fire department. We have a volunteer fire service. I don't even know what you call it, but we have volunteer firemen. And so while I'm waiting on the volunteer firemen to show up, I call my ex, and he and my BFF's husband, they are on their way to my ex's alma mater for homecoming. So I call him, and I'm on I'm on FaceTime with him. And I don't know what happened. And so I'm nervous because the fire is ablazing. I mean, the fire is high and is hot, right? And so I'm like, please, God, let these firemen come. And so he tells me, show me. Well, I'm nervous. I don't know what I did. I was fiddling with the phone. Next thing you know, I turned the phone around, and I'm like, look what I've done. And I'm just talking, and I turn the phone around. Y'all, why am I live on Facebook? I don't know how I got off of FaceTiming him to literally being live on Facebook. Now, I had never gone live before at that point. And so I'll tell people a lot of times, I think I've only gone live once on Facebook. And so when I did, I was like, I've never been live. And I was like, well, actually I have, when I accidentally went live when I was burning down my she shed. But that was a total accident. And so I kept looking like, what is this? Like, I didn't even know what I was looking at, because I thought I was going to be looking at him. And I wasn't looking at him. I'm looking at me filming my she shed burning up. So finally, my eyes kind of really focused on my phone. I was like, oh my God, I'm going live. I think I even said it. And hurry up and start just pushing buttons to get off of it. So when I call him back and I'm telling him that, you know, I went live, when I thought I was talking to him and my BFF's husband, I mean, when I tell you, I gave them the laughter of their life. So by this time, when I'm talking to him, I'm like, I gotta go. The fire people are here. They come out. When I say volunteer, they come out in suits, shorts, overalls. I'm trying to think. When I tell you, it was such a hodgepodge of individuals. But I was grateful as hell that they were here to put this fire out. And when they got done, I'm wondering, like, why does it look the way it looks? Like, they told me that they concentrated on one side of the tree because on the other side of the tree, there was some debris that was left that you would use to put on top of a roof, and it was flammable. So they were trying to concentrate staying on that side to saturate it, because if that part had caught a fire, baby, the whole tree would have been ablaze. The tree would have been gone. And when I told my neighbor how I just wanted the tree limb removed, he was like, is there anything else? And I was like, well, I mean, I've been really wanting to clear off all of the debris here. And I said, but I can't pick it all up, and if I did, I don't have a place to put it. And he was like, well, I didn't bring my trailer. He said, but if one of the guys from the church brings a trailer, he said, we'll make sure we get this all cleaned up. So he has cleaned it up to the point where now, if I want to put a new she shed here, oh baby, she's good. This area is primed and ready now for a new she shed. Think I ain't gonna get one? I bet I do. It was not too expensive because everything has gone up. But my goal is to put a new she shed here, get all of the stuff that is cluttering my front porch out, put it in the she shed where it belongs, and then I want to use my front porch to grow plants like it was originally supposed to, because my front porch is surrounded by windows. But I know it was a long story of me talking about how grateful I was, but when I say grateful, really grateful, it doesn't even capture the feeling. Gratefulness doesn't capture the love that I have for the church that came and did what they did. I plan on sending them a love offering, mind you, and I don't care where they put it. My neighbor was like, I know you asked for the church's address, but you really don't have to give. You know, they were doing it because this is what they wanted to do. She said, but I've learned, you know, not to say no to someone else's blessing. And so she gave me the address, and I told her, I said, you know, I sing in a band. I said, so would I get paid tonight? I said, when I get paid tonight, please know I'm putting a little something in the mail for your church. Do whatever you want to do with it, but it's getting out of my hand. Because again, when I say I'm grateful, because we don't have the support, we don't have sometimes the ability, especially as single women, to get things done. And she later told me that I was the very first person that the men's ministry was able to pay it forward. And her little girl, or their little girl, my neighbor's little girl, she came in. Why did she give me flowers? I'm going to insert them here. She gave me flowers. It was so cute. And I was just grateful. Like, here I am getting the service done at my home and wanting to pay it forward to them, and she is just loving so hard. I mean, she's 5, but her spirit, honey, is of this old lady trying to take care of another old lady, and that was all right. I'll take it. And I love her name. We will not say what her name is, but I love her name, and I love her. When I say it's a pretty little girl, that is a pretty little girl inside and out. Anyway, I can talk about her all day long, but anyway, like I said, I wanted to come out here and just kind of sit in the place where I am most grateful. Because remember, guys, I'm doing a grateful jar. And what I've noticed is that I am writing a whole lot. When the spring, when the day of spring came, what was it, the 20th of March, I purposed myself to start a gratefulness jar, and every day I wanted to say what I was grateful for, and I'm just doing it on little post-it notes. But man, and I'm dating it, and I'm writing what I'm grateful for. And so most people, when they do a grateful jar, like, I am grateful for blank, you know, and it's not a lot. Like, Vita, you can't keep writing. I'm writing too much. Okay, I'm writing a whole lot, and I'm trying to, you know, pull myself in, because what I really need to do is just keep it in a journal. Because if I keep it in a journal, then I can write as much as I want and then go to the next day and write as much as I want. But I'm trying to just do what I set out to do, which was put them in a gratefulness jar, because at the end of the year, I want to go back to see. First of all, I want to see if I can do it. Like, can I do this every day? Can I do this every day? We're about to find out. I would like for you to join me in this journey of just saying how grateful you are every day. And again, you can do it in whatever manner you choose. I've already had someone reach out. Thank you, Miss V. So Miss V said she's going to join me in writing down every day what she is grateful for the next year. And I just think that it keeps us grounded, and it keeps us from being a negative Nancy. And I try my best to be a positive Polly. I really do. But, you know, life be lifing. And sometimes negative Nancy shows up. And in those times, my goal is to go back in that gratefulness jar and pull something out just to remind myself, what are you grateful for? Well, remember, on March 22nd, you said blah, 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 blah. Think on those things. All right, so this is Vita with Life Her Way. I thank you all again for continuing to joining me on this journey of loving me more. Look at what I'm grateful for. All of that debris, the city is coming to pick it up for free on tomorrow. Listen to she who whispers. I'm learning that every day. I am listening to she who whispers. You may call it discernment. You may call it your first mind. You may call it God. You may call it spirit. But listen. Listen. All right, guys. You have a great one. Smooches, because it's about to rain. Bye, y'all.